The arena fell silent as Warlord Kethvar raised his forearms, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh artificial lights. Around the circular pit, thousands of alien spectators from dozens of species watched with anticipation. Some had traveled from distant star systems just to witness this moment, the execution of the human prisoner who had dared to steal from the Syndicate's most profitable mining operation. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the center of the arena, her hands still bound behind her back with energy shackles that hummed with deadly voltage. Her uniform was torn and dirty from 3 weeks in the Syndicate's detention cells, but her posture remained straight, defiant. The crowd jeered in various alien languages, their excitement palpable. "Behold!" Kethvar's voice boomed through the arena's speakers, translated into dozens of languages simultaneously. The arrogance of humanity knows no bounds. This creature believes her species superior to the ancient races of the galaxy. Today she learns the price of such hubris. The warlord's mandibles clicked together in what his species considered a smile. He had ruled this sector for 3 centuries, crushing rebellions and maintaining order through fear. The humans were a relatively new species to the galactic community, barely 200 years since first contact. Yet they had already earned a reputation for reckless bravery that bordered on insanity. "I give you," Kethvar continued, "the devourer of Kepler 442b, the beast that consumed an entire colony world, the nightmare that haunts the dreams of veteran warriors across 12 star systems." A massive gate at the far end of the arena began to rise with a grinding mechanical sound. The crowd's excitement reached fever pitch as shadows moved in the darkness beyond. Then it emerged. The creature was massive, easily 4 times the height of a human, with 6 legs that ended in razor-sharp claws. Its hide was black as space itself, covered in bony protrusions that jutted out at odd angles. 3 heads swayed on serpentine necks, each mouth filled with rows of crystalline teeth that could bite through starship hulls. Its eyes glowed like miniature suns, and when it roared, the sound was so deep it vibrated through the arena's reinforced structure. Many in the crowd took involuntary steps back. Even through protective barriers and energy fields, the beast's presence was overwhelming. This was death incarnate, a creature that had single-handedly destroyed an entire human settlement before being captured by Syndicate forces. The Devourer's 6 eyes fixed on Sarah, and it began to move forward with predatory grace. Each step left cracks in the arena floor. Its 3 heads wove hypnotically as it approached, testing the air with forked tongues the size of hovercars. Sarah Chen looked up at the approaching nightmare. The crowd expected screaming, begging, perhaps a final desperate plea for mercy. Instead, she tilted her head slightly and said, "Oh my God, you're magnificent." The beast paused, confused by the lack of fear scent. "Look at you," Sarah continued, her voice filled with genuine wonder. "Those scales must be evolutionary adaptations for your homeworld's harsh radiation. And those bone ridges, perfect for both defense and heat regulation. You're not just a predator, are you? You're an apex survivor." The Devourer's heads tilted, studying this strange prey that spoke without terror. Sarah took a step forward, ignoring the gasps from the crowd. "What did they do to you, big guy? I bet you weren't always like this. I bet someone hurt you, made you angry." Her voice carried the same tone she'd used with frightened animals back on Earth. "They probably don't understand that you're just scared and confused in a place that doesn't smell like home." One of the beast's heads lowered slightly, close, enough that Sarah could see her reflection in its burning eyes. "You know what?" she said, smiling despite her circumstances. "You remind me of my childhood dog, Buster. He was big and scary looking too, but all he ever wanted was someone to understand him. Mind if I call you Fluffy? I know it's not very dignified for a galactic terror, but I think it suits you." The crowd had gone completely silent. Even Warlord Kethvar stared in disbelief as the human continued speaking to his ultimate weapon as if it were a lost pet. "I can't reach you with my hands tied," Sarah said conversationally. "But would you like a hug, Fluffy? I bet nobody's given you a proper hug in ages." The beast's central head descended until it was inches from Sarah's face. Its breath was like superheated metal, but she didn't flinch. Instead, She gently pressed her forehead against the creature's snout. "There we go," she whispered. "It's okay. I know you're not really a monster." The devourer made a sound, not a roar, but something softer, almost like a purr, if a purr could shake stadium foundations. Its massive head nuzzled against the small human with surprising gentleness. The arena erupted into chaos. Some spectators fled in panic, others stared in stunned silence. Warlord Kethavar's mandibles worked furiously, but no sound emerged. Sarah looked up at the crowd, her forehead still pressed against Fluffy's snout. "This is what you don't understand about humans," she called out, her voice carrying clearly in the stunned silence. "We don't see monsters. We see family we haven't met yet." The energy shackles around her wrists suddenly sparked and died. Fluffy had reached around with one massive claw and carefully severed the restraints without so much as scratching her skin. "Thanks, buddy," Sarah said, reaching up to gently stroke the creature's jaw. "Now what do you say we get out of this place? I know a nice planet where the hunting's good and nobody will bother you." The Devourer's 3 heads turned toward Warlord Kethavar, and this time when it roared, the sound was filled with recognition. It had remembered who had taken it from its home, who had starved it and tormented it and turned it into a weapon. Kethavar tried to activate his control devices, but Fluffy was no longer listening to artificial commands. It had found something it had never experienced before: acceptance without conditions, kindness without agenda. As the beast began moving toward the Warlord's viewing platform with Sarah riding easily on its back, she called out one final message to the fleeing crowd. "Next time you want to scare a human with a monster, maybe check if we've already adopted it first." The last thing the arena's sensors recorded before the power grid overloaded was the sound of Sarah Chen laughing with genuine joy as Fluffy demolished the Syndicate's most secure facility, not out of rage, but out of gratitude. Later, galactic historians would mark this as the moment when the rest of the universe truly understood what made humans dangerous: their inexplicable ability to find common ground with anything, anywhere, no matter how impossible it seemed. Even the monsters loved them back.